Good afternoon, everybody. Now, as you probably see right here, I'm here to talk about the SOPA Act again. Now, I was recently reading online. Apparently, according to the House of Jurisdiction, if you will, because I got an email because I've been putting my signature down as one of those as one of the free Americans out there and all that wants the internet to be safe and all, and not be jeopardized and all that. I mean, and the fact is, I got this email, and I took the link to where it gave me, and I put the link and the other link to of something else. I posted those on my Facebook. So Brian Walmer Facebook deal, check it out there. You'll see them. But basically, this new revision or new manager's amendment, if you will, as it's being called, but I think it's Representative Republican Smith or something like that that's proposing it out of Texas, basically states, and this was actually revised and made up and done and everything on the 12th. Now, basically, according to the article that I read at the House of Jurisdiction, the House of Jurisdiction, I can't pronounce it. Basically, the committee that's doing this, the Smith guy, the Republican, Lamar Smith, I think his name, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, says that we're too quick to judge, and that many critics and opposers of SOPA are flat out lying. Basically, he said that the new revising, the new reworking that's being talked about right now as we speak, the new revising, the new amendment, if you will not, according to what he said in this, and again, you could check it up on YouTube. I'll probably provide the links here on YouTube on my channel. But according to what he said, this new SOPA Act will not affect Google. It will not affect Facebook. It will not affect Twitter. So in other words, those sites and anybody associated with Google and Facebook and Twitter will not be affected. So in other words, what they're saying is Google and anything associated with Google, like let's say YouTube, will not be affected. Anything with Facebook and Facebook itself will not be affected. Twitter will not be affected. So basically, he's flat out saying in this thing, and again, I'll provide the link to it, that the sites we're worried about the most will not be affected. That the only main target is the foreign rogue websites. Websites that use, as he puts it, American intellect property to make money off of for themselves. Now, I know some people will say, well, if that's the case, it's going to affect sites like thatguywiththeglasses.com and Channel Awesome. It's going to affect Cinemassacre. Probably not. We can't really judge that yet. We can't say yay or nay if they're going to be affected. Because if they are going to be affected, then the obvious thing, if I was the people at thatguywiththeglasses.com, and I know that Google and anything associated with Google, according to what this guy is stating in this report, is not going to be affected, then my best chance is to get a YouTube channel made. And basically probably do a video and say, look, from now on, you're going to see everybody's videos here on YouTube because this is the only place we're safe. Now, again, I understand, and I'm all for not allowing this bill to go through in the form that, everybody fears it's going to go through it. Because everybody's afraid that everything's going to change for the worse. And the thing is, folks, we can't think of things negatively. We got to look at things positively. And all we can do is hope and pray that even if this thing gets passed, that it's going to take a long time for the Congress to sign. Because get this, according to some reports that I've been reading online, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have read these, a lot of people have said that even if it does pass, Congress is not going to be in any hurry to sign it into law. They're not going to be in any hurry because it's so unbalanced and it needs to be revised. It needs to be reworked. I mean, they have used examples that said when China, the country of China, did the same thing, they passed a law, but it didn't get signed into law or go into effect until 5 years later. So basically what the people are saying is even if this gets passed, Congress ain't going to be in no hurry to sign it, and they're going to give it time to be revised, reworked, and redone before they sign it into law. That's what people are saying, from what I've read. From what I can understand, that's what they're saying. But like I said at the beginning, according to the Smith guy, basically he's saying that everybody that's criticizing the SOPA Act is taking it the wrong way. Now, there are some people that are against his manager's amendment or his reversion of the of the bill, but he's basically saying that we're taking it the wrong way. We're taking it the wrong way, basically stating that we're worried about nothing and that everybody that's against us is blowing it out of proportion. Now, there are those, 24 hours ago, there are those that run all these corporate websites like Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, and all that have wrote a long letter, if you will, to Congress telling them, think about, not just to Congress, but to the committee, to think about what they're doing. Because if they go through with this, things are going to change forever. Now, some people have stated, regular people like myself have stated, that if this goes through, what we like to do will not be allowed anymore. Some people are afraid, that we are not going to be able to do our fan vids anymore. We're not going to be able to do our tribute videos, not be able to do reviews anymore. Here's the thing, folks. I don't think that's going to be affected much. Because if this guy is telling us the truth, and sometimes it's hard to believe anything people say in Washington. Okay? It's hard to believe anything people are saying in Washington. But if this guy is true to what he says, of the fact that Google, Facebook, and Twitter will not be affected, and anybody apparently associated with them, or under the banners, then I don't think we have to worry that much. And besides, it's like some people have said, they're predicting that even if it passes, Congress will not be in a quick hurry to want to sign it into law. That's the thing. They will not be in a hurry to say, okay, it's passed, it's in law. No, they're going to look at it. There are going to be a lot of people looking at it saying, you know what? This is stupid. We're not going to sign this. It needs to be revised. It needs to be reworked because it doesn't follow the First Amendment of America, of the Constitution, which is free speech. And that's what people are trying to say, that it's going to basically kill that amendment. Now, a lot of people say that there are those that are for the SOPA bill that are not technically savvy. In other words, they don't know much about computers. They don't know much about the internet. And the way I look at it sometimes, folks, I'm thinking that's why they want to pass this, because maybe they're just upset at the fact they don't know as much as a lot of us do, and that perhaps this is just their way of saying, hey, look, if we can't figure out the internet, then we can't use the internet correctly, then guess what? Nobody's going to use it. And that's pretty much the way it looks. But you know what? I believe, I'm positive that even if this passes, it's not going to get signed quickly. It's going to end up being like some of the other bills that people have been afraid of. It's going to be held up. It's going to be held up before it gets signed. And besides, think of it this way, folks. It's election year coming up. Do you think, honestly, the Congress, the Senate, the Congress people are going to take time out of their busy schedule just to sign that bill when they're trying to campaign and to keep their seats in that Senate? Do you think they're going to do that? No. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to focus more on campaigning than anything else. And believe it or not, there are going to be a lot, and I mean a lot, of voters that are going to be against this SOPA law, that those running for Congress, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Tea Party members, it doesn't matter, that they will look at what people are saying, and they'll be smart enough to realize, you know what? If we're going to get these people's vote to get in the Senate, we need to give them what they want. And so they're basically going to have to say, we're against SOPA just as well as you are. That's what they're going to have to do. And again, this is why people say this is why people predict there will be no hurry of this bill being signed into law. I mean, I just looked on C-SPAN, people, on all 3 C-SPAN networks, and not one of them was talking about the law. Not one of them was talking about SOPA. Now, I may have not seen it. Matter of fact, let me go back as I speak. CNN's not talking about it. Let's see what C-SPAN has to say. They're not saying anything about it. Let's see what the Senate has to say on C-SPAN. Maybe I need to get my caption off here. Nope. Let's go down to 116, which is one of the channels. Anyway, we'll get into it. C-SPAN 3. See what they're talking about. No, they're talking about global. I don't see anything. They're talking about drug trafficking in the Caribbean and one, and honestly, folks, I don't see nothing on it. Now, I don't think the committee gets televised, so maybe I'm wrong. But I just don't see anything, folks. I don't see anything. So even if they have talked about it, maybe it's just in Washington. I haven't really seen anything, folks. And the truth is, again, even if it passes, it's still got to go through Congress. And Congress has got to sign it, but they're going to want to look it over. And right now, like I said, going into the election year, they're not going to want to be in no hurry to do that. They're going to want to focus on saving their seats in the Senate. That's going to be their main priority. So honestly, folks, I don't think SOPA is, well, it is a big deal, but I don't think we got to worry that much about it right now. And if this guy is true to what he says, and again, I'll provide the links in the description box. If this guy's true to what he says, then we have nothing to worry about because YouTube is owned by Google. Get it? They're associated and owned by Google or partnered with Google. So there's nothing that YouTube, I don't think, will be affected. They will not be affected. Facebook and Twitter will not be affected, according to what this guy says. Now, again, like I said, we can't really believe anything people say in Washington. But I'm going to go with it and see what happens. Maybe we all blowing out of maybe we all blowing it out of proportions. Maybe we're not. But we're just going to have to see. And that's all I'm going to say.